Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sporty Mentality. My name is Tanner, and today we're going to be reacting to the best NBA starting five from every state. I believe it's top 10 starting fives from every state. I'm hoping Indiana's on it because obviously I'm from Indiana. But this video is by Austin Sweat. The original video is down below if you want to go watch that. But let's get right into it, guys. If I can press play. There we go.
We know who that is by now, but now we need to find out who the best starting five from every state is. Okay, well, not every state. We're only looking at the top 8 because I'm
top 8. Okay,
50 starting fives, and
yeah,
there's not even 5 players from every state anyway. So we got the top 8. And
yeah,
it's a pretty surprising one. Probably one you wouldn't have even expected to show up in this video because it's Georgia. For Malcolm Brogdon, Jaylen Brown, Jay Crowder, Derek Favors, and Dwight Howard.
Okay, that's a playoff team. That's a playoff team. I'm taking that team to the Eastern or Western Conference Finals.
It's been one of the last states I
am I? If it's prime Dwight, I am.
Be in this video. I mean, when I think of Georgia, I think of Woods, camouflage, and compensating trucks. I don't think of world-class athletes that would make it to the NBA. And I guess that brings
Bro,
up
Georgia's not like that.
An obvious one, because the less popular a state
you guys
is,
ever been
the
to
less
Atlanta?
people that live there, which means the less players that usually make it into the league. And the more popular states bring in a lot more NBA players because
why is closed
the population's
captioning
bigger,
on?
which means there's a higher chance they'll make it. But it also has to do with basketball programs being a lot better in certain states like North Carolina than say Wyoming, so that plays a part too. But for this scenario,
Jay Crowder's honestly
Brogdon's
very
great,
underrated.
Jaylen's great, and Crowder, Favors, and Dwight are all pretty good in their own roles, and altogether they'd be pretty good. But there's no star on the team. Jaylen Brown could end up in that spot, but for now that's unknown. So we can only guess that they would only get so far, and probably wouldn't make it to the playoffs. But hey,
You're telling me that team doesn't make it to the playoffs? I guess if it's not prime Dwight, they're not. Yeah. But I was thinking, like, the best version of each player. That's what I was thinking, like.
at least
I
they
don't
still
know.
made it to the top 8.
Prime Dwight,
pretty
I think,
unexpected one in
easily.
Missouri. I mean, Missouri, along with Georgia, probably would have been one of my last choices.
Michael
for
Porter
states that would make
Jr.?
this video, but they do make it because there's a good amount of talent there with Landry Shamet, Bradley Beal, Otto Porter, Jason Tatum, and Michael Porter Jr. No true big man, so they'd be playing like the Rockets, but they'd be a good squad.
Now that's a
With lot
playoff
of
team, I
scoring
think.
Potential around the perimeter, a good amount in mid-range, and a passable amount in the paint. And
Tatum and Beal?
Otto Porter would be the team's main defenders.
That's
Beal and
playoff
Tatum would be the
automatically.
scorers and the stars, and Michael Porter Jr. would be the wild card. With all that said, though, honestly, I don't think this team would mesh well together. A lot of scoring young players, and I wouldn't say that Bradley Beal's the best leader, so they might have trouble finding out who gets the ball and when. At least
Yeah,
they were still
Tatum
able to beat out Georgia
and Beal are both ball hogs, so that I don't know how that would go.
7th on this list, so they do deserve some props for that, though. Pretty surprisingly, then, New York comes in at number 6.
New
and it's a big
York!
surprise because historically, New York's been one of the top 2 or 3 states all time for producing star NBA players. It's produced
Walker?
the second most players all time with just over 400, and all-time greats like Michael Jordan, Kareem, and Dr. J. So it's kind of weird that current players only rank 6th
Dr.
here. And it
J.
ranks here for Kemba Walker, Donovan Mitchell, Carmelo Anthony, Jonathan Isaac, and Andre Drummond.
Bro, that's a championship team if it's prime Melo. Oh my god. With ease. With ease. But yeah, that's a playoff team.
So yeah, not the best, but these 5 would definitely be a playoff team. The backcourt's what really makes them great, while the guys in the front court would all fill in the gaps perfectly. You got scorers, leaders, good shooters, defenders, and rebounders, and they really aren't missing anything.
Dude, Jonathan Isaac, his torn ACL, that's really going to hurt the Magic. I hope he bounces back from that, man. He's such a great player and has so much potential
in the league, so he fits into that role. While, for instance, Andre Drummond isn't a great all-around player, but he'll give you 15 rebounds a night. Then clearly, Carmelo Anthony has been doing a great job of finally accepting his role as a third option on the Blazers, so transfer that over here, and he would do the same behind Kemba and Mitchell, so he'd be their big go-to clutch scorer. I really like this lineup, and the only thing that prevents them from ending up higher is the fact that their stars aren't as good as some of the others ahead of them. Number 5,
they don't have like an amazing star.
Of Derrick Rose, Fred VanVleet, Andre Iguodala, Robert Covington, and Anthony Davis.
Bro, imagine if this is prime everyone. Prime Iguodala and Derrick Rose. It is over. I'm taking this team to the championship every single year, bro. Oh my god, what a great team.
The main reason that these guys rank as high as they do. He's their true superstar, but he does have a great supporting cast. The offense will come from Derrick Rose and Fred VanVleet, and the defense will come
And
from...
by the way, not to bash Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is still a great player. In my opinion, he should be An ad's about to come, by the way. He should be the 6th man of the year this year, but he's not going to be, I don't think.
From Covington and Iguodala. Well, obviously both will come from Davis.
Here's the
If I
ad.
had to look for
All
one
right, here we
flaw
go.
here, though, it would be that they're lacking a true passer. I'm sure that their guards could fill that role if asked, but both Fred and Derek are attack the basket first kind of players, so they'd have to change up what they're used to. Because if you're going to be playing with AD, you need a guy whose first priority is to set
I
him
think
up
Fred
for open
VanVleet
looks
could
and
turn
help him
into a
get his
passing
30 a
point guard
night.
like
But
Kyle
that's
Lowry.
really the only problem with this team. Also, sure, Covington lacks in size, but that would help them play small ball, and Davis is dominant enough that he can make up for the rebounds that Covington would miss anyways, while still being able to run the floor with everyone. And with 4 guys
Prime
on the outside,
Iguodala,
it leaves the
dude, low
entire
key,
paint for AD to
amazing.
dominate in. These guys only have one true superstar, but since their entire lineup's made up of pretty good compliments to him, it's why they rank here. Number 4. Now, as you can see, we're getting into the more popular states with the better lineups. We had New York, now number 4 is Texas, where we have Trae Young, Marcus Smart, Jimmy Butler, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Miles Turner. And
Ooh,
this
yes.
right here is a good team. Marcus
Young,
Smart, Jimmy, and Miles
besides
on the defense.
Aldridge.
Trae Young would be able to be the leader on the court, while Jimmy Butler would lead in the locker room.
I
And
guess
they'd
Jimmy
also have
Butler isn't
LaMarcus
that young
Aldridge,
either.
who could do both. And even though there's no real dominant superstar player on this team, they have the perfect blend of everything that they need to be
let's go back and see what that said.
Superstar player on this
Jimmy Butler is a star and a top player in the NBA. All I'm saying is he's not dominant like some of the other players in these lineups.
team.
Fair
They have
enough.
the perfect blend of everything that they need to be very successful. And with everything they have here, I
Fair
really
enough.
don't see many weaknesses. I guess stretching the floor would be the only one I could come up with, because Trae Young's the only great three-point shooter on the team, but because they're so great in every other category, I think they could get around that. There wasn't really too many other great current players from Texas, but these teams are slowly getting better. Number 3 goes to one of the biggest basketball states with North Carolina.
Oh, I
With
thought it
a
was
squad
Indiana.
consisting of John Wall, Chris Paul, Brandon Ingram, Montrezl Harrell, and Hassan Whiteside. Normally, in most other cases, Chris Paul,
Bro.
Brandon Ingram, Montrezl Harrell, and Hassan
So John Wall's injured. They're probably not counting that. Chris Paul's getting up there in age. So is Hassan Whiteside. Harrell and Ingram are good. What was the last team? I think I'm taking the team before last team. Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum. That team, I'm taking that team over this team, to be honest with you.
Whiteside. Normally, in most other cases, two former top-tier point guards playing together would be a problem on the team. But as we saw, CP3 can play with anyone. It's different here, though, than him playing with James Harden.
CP3 is one of the best team players of all time.
Chris had to do was be a playmaker. But in this case, Wall's also a playmaker. I wouldn't be too worried, though, because I'm sure CP3 would make it work.
If it's prime Wall, then
Very
yes,
similar to what he's
it's
done this year
fine.
with the
But like
Thunder.
Wall's
He would be the
injured.
team's
That's the only thing
main
I'm saying.
Playmaker, while John Wall could take the role that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has had this past season, meaning he would be able to transfer over to being just a scorer, which he's never gotten to do before. So you got that duo to go with Brandon Ingram, who's a certified scorer at this point, Montrezl Harrell, who can do it all, and Whiteside, who could cause some friction on the team, but he'd bring them some much needed defense that they'd be lacking. And a team with
Whiteside's
this
a-
much talent
oh my
and the
gosh.
leadership
I
to
don't
go
like
along with
Whiteside.
it means
Never
that
did.
without a doubt they'd be a top team in the league. We've seen how good CP3's made the Thunder this year on his own, so with a lineup like this, they'd just be that much better. And still, almost 2 years later, we don't know how well John Wall will recover from his injury.
That's
but
what I'm
assuming he's
saying.
at least a near all-star level player, they'd be good. Number 2, okay, this one isn't debatable. This one obviously deserves to be in the number 2 spot, especially because no one's beating out the number 1 team. But we'll get there. For this one, though, Ohio takes it. They have
Oh,
Steph
yeah,
Curry,
LeBron.
CJ McCollum, Karis LeVert, LeBron James, and Larry Nance.
Bro, I did not know McCollum was from Ohio. That is stacked. Imagine that's a championship team. Championship team. Without a doubt. With not even the slightest doubt.
Would eventually be a problem, but they have 2 of the best players in the entire NBA. There's 6 championships and 6 MVPs.
Who's better than
between the
this
2 of
team?
them. While both Karis and CJ will get you 20 a game, and Nance really.
It has to be KD's
LeBron
team,
and
right?
Steph, they'd probably be in championship considerations every single year. LeBron excels at playing with other stars, and so does Steph. He took the backseat to KD and still put up 30 a game, and could probably put up even more with how willing LeBron is to step back and just let his stars do their things, as opposed to Durant, who's a score first kind of guy. And that's not a knock on Durant, it just changes the team dynamic. The main question that puts all of this into jeopardy, though, is none of the 5 here are really good defenders, and with them playing so small, they'd probably get taken out
Yeah,
easily by
with
teams
Nance.
with a real agile big man like Anthony Davis. It'd be an interesting one, though, and I mean, the Rockets have made it work, so who knows? Then for number 1, it was really no contest at all. There isn't even a second of debate on this one, because California takes it for
Okay.
their 5 of Damian Lillard, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Leonard, Kevin Love, and Brook Lopez. Plus, guys that didn't make it include Russell Westbrook, Klay Thompson, Drew Holiday, and DeMar DeRozan. Like, you could almost make a lineup of the players that didn't make it that would have still ranked #1 for this video. There's something in the water in California, and their basketball programs are just some of the best in the world, like I mentioned. Plus, they also just have a much.
By the way, just to preface that all these players are born in this state. It's not if they live there now, it's if they're born in this state. Just wanted to preface that.
Than most every other state, which gives them a bigger chance of success. But there's not even a need to go through how good this team would be. I'll still do it quickly though. It's really like the all-star team. Damian Lillard was playing like an MVP to close out the season. James Harden's the best scorer as always. Kawhi's arguably the best two-way player in the league, which is a great compliment to Dame and James. Then the front court takes a little step back with Kevin Love, who's still solid. And for Brook Lopez, if you're going to be getting a role player for a center, he's the #1 guy that should be at the top of your list.
That's a championship team every year, obviously. I don't really have to say anything about that. I mean, come on.
Championship waiting to happen. And I'm pretty sure I got everyone. I checked through all the states and double checked every player that played in that state, so I'm pretty sure all these teams are accurate and I didn't miss anyone. But if there is anyone that you think I may have missed, comment them down below.
Alright, that was a fun video. I love these videos, man. I really do. Austin Sweat's a great guy. I don't know why I'm not subscribed. Austin Sweat's a great YouTuber, and he always makes these interesting videos. So the best NBA starting 5 from every state. I'll put the link to the video in the description below. But I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.